Peace. What's up? This is your boy Lean Lizzie, and I'm here to answer these Patreon questions blog style. We just gonna run through them a little bit. Whoa. There we go. We just gonna run through them a little bit, and you're gonna be able to understand where I'm at, where I'm coming from, and how I've been doing it for last couple months or so. Ramadan just officially ended, probably about 4 or 5 days ago now. So Eid Mubarak to everybody who celebrates Ramadan and everybody who got love for the Muslims. All right. Yeah, my daughter's birthday party was yesterday. I've been working nonstop at my day job. So needless to say, I've been very busy. Make sure I get the levels right for y'all. All right. So what I introed with was the drum portion of a joint I did probably a couple of days ago, but I did something very unique, kind of interesting for me. Let me make sure I look at the camera. Kind of interesting for me because I don't really do this that often, but I controlled the simpler in Ableton via a MIDI track on the Octatrack, and that's why I was able to hit arpeggio and shuffle it in the arpeggio mode and randomize it as it was playing through while it was being generated from the Ableton that's in front of me. Maybe I should give you a gander at that. Let's see how. Okay, boom. So you'll see the simpler right there. And I'm hitting play on the Octatrack now. Yeah, so I'm able to control that via my Octatrack, which does a couple things for me. Mainly what it does is it frees up a sample track for me inside the Octatrack. I really only want one sample source firing off per only one audio source firing off per box because I like to keep my stuff tracked out. Right. So what that does for me is that if I already have a sample that's rocking out of the Octatrack, I don't have to worry about mixing my drum break and the sample. I don't have to worry about mixing the drum break and the sample, to military specifications inside of the Octatrack, so I don't get a jacked up mix once it hits the Ableton. So what I can do is I can just boom, load up the drum break in the Ableton and control it via MIDI, so I still get the Octatrack glitchiness, but I get the track separation. I can mix them differently. I could do different things to them via effect once they're recorded to the box, which is a blessing. All right, let's keep it moving. I want to get to my first Patreon question, and this question is coming from my main man. All right? This is the first Patreon question. How to make it around any music detection programs software with any sample. You said any music detection program software with any sample. I don't know how to do everything now. I don't know with any music detection. They got some cool stuff out here that'll probably beat the butter. But I've been posed this question a number of times. Like, this is far from the first time someone's given me this question. And I think for me, it's the way I chop. So I found the style, and even when I was just doing stuff on the 303 and the 404, granted, that was like 4 years ago, and the AI and the detection and the software has become leaps and bounds in that time. But back then, because the pitch on the 303 and the 404 is so poor, it's so piss poor, I would not pitch up or pitch down my samples. So all my samples were in the original pitch that they came from off the record. what I did was I had unique ways of chopping, and I still do have those unique ways of chopping. And the way I would piece the record back together, it would allow me to skate around those sample detection softwares just because my chops were very short. If your chops are long, it's going to be very easy for any detection software to find out what you're doing, especially if you're not pitching. But even if you're pitching, go, because they could creep through the pitch. The detection software could read through you pitching it up and down. I mean, not all of them can, but the good ones can, right? So, still chop. I was chopping per quarter note. Just make your chop shorter, and you'll be able to get around that. All right, my man, F family. I don't know if I'm ever saying that right, or am I supposed to be saying for family? For family. He had a couple questions, basically just related to workflow, routine, sound design, perk sample stuff, especially. I kind of handled some of the sample stuff. Like, I really only want one sample coming out of the Octatrack, which is my primary sampler, right? It was my only sampler right now. And so how I'm getting around that, because if I'm making a track with multiple samples, I have to get around that. And I've been using this Yamaha Reface, right? And I don't have a MIDI cable, the little 6-pin MIDI. I don't have a MIDI cable for that yet. So it's like I might sample it into the Octatrack, right? But if I also want to sample a drum break or sample something else to go along with that, how do I mitigate? So that's how I've been doing it. I've been setting up the secondary sample in the simpler inside of Ableton, and or using VSTs. Check out my hybrid workflow tutorial, and that basically breaks down how I've been doing that. Okay. And the philosophy when making a track for me is kind of bugged out. I sit on ideas. It's like something may catch my ear while I'm driving to the grocery store or throughout the day, and I say, that would make for a nice little for a flip or a composition, or I wonder if they have an acapella for that. It's like I'm always kind of thinking a little music minded. So I come up with little portions of ideas throughout the day, and the better ones stick with me and make it to when I sit down and I'm ready to flesh something out, right? So my process is the foreplay starts 8 hours before the get down. If you get with my drift, all right. If you get my drift, all right. So with that being said, yeah, I start thinking about it early on. Then I start game planning a beat. I may start collecting the resources, finding the acapella, finding which drums I'm going to use, or start just getting a general start listening to things to get a general idea of what direction I'm going in. Like lately, what I've been doing is all the Latin rhythms, African rhythms, they have almost and rhythms from around the world. They all have rhythms and meters and certain beats that are indicative to that genre. Like the waltz, we know it's 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. Bossa Nova is right, and the clave may be doing something else, and the different instruments may be doing something else, right? But those rhythms are repeated and they're indicative of those forms. So what I might do is try to learn one of those rhythms and put it down via triggers, right? Or if you're in MPC world, you could put it down via pads. You feel me? So sometimes I spend my time game planning a beat like that. Maybe trying to challenge myself to do something musically that is something that's musical in the real world, or we're all in the real world, but musical in the organic analog world, and bring it into the electronic or the synthesized or the digital realm and try to replicate that. So that is the beginning of a lot of my beats. Capiche? Okay. I think that was a good explanation of that. Okay. As for drum kits and saving sounds, I haven't done that in so long that I'm rusty and I don't know what I'm saying now. But what I normally do, and the after track helps me do that, is that when I'm in a different project, I really only use I don't use that many drum sounds, to be honest with you, but I process all my drum sounds very differently. Now, when it comes to saving sounds, the modular stuff that I've been doing, shout out to Pamela's new workout. Shout out to Pamela's new workout. Such a dope module that's giving me all sorts of sequences and Euclidean pattern options. It's just really good. It's 8 outs of 8 different clocks that you could divide and manipulate and send LFO and gate and all. Yeah, it's the brain to my Eurorack as of now, right? Where was I? Yeah, so I used to save a lot of drum sounds in the scope, but when I've been working with modular, and especially since I've been working with my all of my auxiliary percussion really comes from the modular stuff at like right now and the Voca drum. So especially with the modular, it's a different process when it comes to saving sounds. Now, what I've learned how to do is instead of really saving sounds, I'm saving processes in my head. I'm saving like, okay, that was interesting. All right, boom, boom, boom. So it's like not necessarily me saving a sound per se, but saving the methodology that it comes to get in the ballpark of that sound. Like, so for instance, with my Moog Mother 32, right? It's some unique stuff that you could do by sending LFO, having your LFO modulate your VCF with nothing but noise. All right. So I open up the cutoff filter all the way open, and I turn the attack all the way down, turn the decay all the way down, turn the VCA off, turn the sustain off, and basically sequence gates. So those gates will turn into or whatever, like however you want to sequence it, but it'll be nothing but noise. All right. So it's like I kind of knew how to manipulate noise in the FM world, but not in the analog world. I mean, I did. I had a general idea, but I learned how to make the closed hats and the open hats come via how I was sending the LFO to the VCF. So it's like, that's something that I remember. Now, will I get that exact same sound the next time? Like, will my frequency and my pulse width be open the exact same amount? Will the glide be where it's supposed to be at? Where the gate length and the tempo? Probably not. But the methodology is there. So I know how to get in the ballpark. Once I get in the ballpark, I can come back up with it. So when I go to make a drum kit, it's like instead of having a whole bunch of sounds saved to just dump into a drum kit, I'll have these methodologies established to how to get certain sounds that I want to categorize that I've been using. I've been using these methodologies to get these sounds, and that's what you're getting out of drum kit, as opposed to recorded sounds from actual joints. You're getting like how I would make sounds, a collection of how I would make sounds. And I've been doing that for a while now. For a while, like the actual principal sounds that I make, like that I use in beats, will only account for about 15% of the drum kit. And the rest of the drum kit is me actually making sounds specifically for that drum kit in the fashion that I've been processing sounds for that season of time and that for that period of the drum kit's release. Make sense? Capiche? Yeah, baby. Okay. Yeah, I talked about the Pams. Oh yeah, the Reface is really dope, but it takes this like little 6-pin MIDI instead of 5-pin, which is kind of corny to me. That why didn't they just throw a regular 5-pin MIDI on it? But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and order the MIDI cord from Amazon. But this is the kicker. I don't think the Octatrack, you guys can tell me, I don't think the Octatrack could send more than 4 notes via MIDI. And the Reface has 8-note polyphony, which is bomb, you know? So you could get your real neo soul jazz extended chords, your 9th, your 13th, your 15th. You can get it all in there. You feel what I'm talking about? Your 11th, you get them all in there. So, yeah, I need to get that chord, and I'll be rolling. My next module pickup probably is another ALM module. I really like that company, and it'll probably be the Akimi's Taiko. The drum module is an FM drum module. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the drums. I want to flood this whole skiff out. Skiff is what the cool people call Eurorack. I want to fill this whole skiff with drum oriented pieces. All right, y'all. It's been great. Can I rock out with a little outro? Let's rock out with some Korg FM goodness, and I might switch patterns real quick so I could do something a little nice, nasty. Load a different program. Okay. Yeah. Hold up. All right, y'all. Peace.